scissors, and then they have to throw paper, and they're rotating. And other times it's like, I'm gonna throw a rock and you're gonna throw a rock. And I'm gonna throw a rock and you're gonna throw a rock. And the bigger rock will just win. Like whoever is better at
It's like
executing the strategy we
it's
do.
like one it's like 1, 2, 3, who goes?
Well, the thing is like, the analogy only works if you're good at all three kind of options. And sometimes it's like in the case of maybe iBDW Virus, the thing way they're approaching doubles has been working, and it's been working pretty well. So rather than trying to like make a crappy scissors, they just have the biggest rock possible that can break, even a piece of paper kind of thing,
Yeah,
And-
or like the strongest rock or a very sturdy paper.
Yeah, exactly. Like just kind of just focusing only on what you're good at and like maximizing the out of that. And that I think is more what we're gonna see. Like less kind of, not that there's not going to be adaptation on the kind of the more basic level of Melee, where like trying to call out certain habits or certain play styles, but I don't think we're going to see a fundamental shift from strategy from the green team, because I think it's the right strategy that they're doing.
Yeah, totally agree, 100%. Okay, stocks are even right now. FD, wow, it's a separation. Wow, so you notice that like they were like sandwiched together for a second, but then once kind of they got like a bit of separation, they were able, like blue team was able to gang up on iBDW and close the stock out pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Really good edge guarding sequence from Virus there. This is kind of what I'm talking about, where Virus gets the opportunities where you need to hit those and then hits those. And so as long as iBDW is able to kind of keep feeding her openings, she will take that opening to the bank and turn it into a kill. And it is a very, 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 very powerful thing. Look at that again, just kind of positioning in the right spot, giving iBDW that opening.
Yeah, definitely. Again, Virus laying back. High percent. Oh, iBDW loses another stock, and Virus is going to lose her stock. She lived until 122, though. That is very good. iBDW deep off stage. He could pay a price for it. Gets back to center, but super aggressive.
No, absolutely. And this is a good 2v1 situation. Again, the laser actually kind of helping him there a bit, because it gave him some time to be able to kind of like sort of reset the situation with Rocky in the picture. So that was a really smart laser. Normally when you think of a laser off stage hitting a Fox while they're up being, it's like an edge guarding thing, it's a bad thing. But in that situation, such a small niche situation that Rocky was aware of, it really made it work.
Definitely. Back air there, close out the stock. And let's see. Rocky and Azel at a high percent, 157. If anything, that if Rocky goes down first, Rocky's probably taking that stock. iBDW playing very cautious in the 2v1. Pushes in just a little bit. There goes Azel stock. This is team at one stock apiece.
This is, I would still say, doable, just because who is in the driver's seat right now. Cody, such a smart player. And, these are characters that you can kill fairly quickly. Now, you need to get a lot of percent to kind of get the opening. But every once in a while, you can get a decent shine spike, right there.
That's a big flub there. That up smash.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
That up smash kills Rocky, but you're right. It barely closes it out, but that was getting a bit scary. You can't, the old saying is you can't give someone a second chance of life, and they almost did there with iBDW. And, sometimes if you give them an inch, they'll take it a mile. And that's almost what we saw there with iBDW.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think like there's a funny thing. I not so much anymore, but for a while I used to play kind of Hearthstone competitively, like the card game, the digital card game. And people used to, a thing that you do in Hearthstone is you try to find kind of the way to kill them. And sometimes people would say like, oh, they missed lethal, which is the term, like in this pro game, that player's bad. And the pro would always respond, yes, it's important to like get the kill in that moment. But what I'm thinking about is, how can I make it so that I cannot lose this game? That there's a 0% chance. So even if I miss this turn, I could have killed them then. But as long as they have 0 chance of killing me, and I still know I can get it next turn, I don't need to worry about, like, because it's a timed game. You know, you only have so much in each turn. What matters the most is just not giving them that opportunity, and that's kind of what you were saying about this sort of sequence. Like, don't give iBDW a way to turn it around. You don't have to kind of like outplay him so hard. It's just sort of like, don't give him anything for free. And I don't think they were really. I think you know, it's just a rough spot to be in.
So you're saying put him in a win ratio is what you're saying. Put him in a
well,
win
it's just
ratio.
like, yeah, like it's sort of like, think about kind of what you're doing and like, don't try to kind of take, like, maybe there's a chance to go for a kill and just close it out. Like, you got it. Like, just try to down air him there, Rock. You got it. And it's like, hey, but wait a minute. If I miss this, I might give him this 2v1 chance. Whereas if we keep the 2v1, we're probably going to win it because, like, we have a good percent lead or whatever. And even though it's iBDW, like, 2v1s are hard, you know? So don't find ways to just keep the advantage that you have and not kind of risking the advantage you have for the victory, if that makes sense.
Well, they definitely took a risk there. They both lost their stocks for it. Virus is trying to get a needle to go and, like, needle iBDW to where he gets another Firefox back, but she ends up dying herself, and that's a big drop, and a 1 stock lead, and oh my goodness, Azel's pushing the issue just a little bit, you know, attacking on more and more percent. And she kind of in a similar sense, you know, she's not like a true floaty, but in a similar sense that she struggle, like, when she's off stage, you know, it takes a while for her to get back, and the same deal can apply to where, you know, if Virus is off stage, they can just ignore Virus and just start ganging up on iBDW. I mean, look at this. They're already kind of ganging up on him right now, attacking on more percent.
Yeah, and that, you know, we talked about this earlier when we were kind of discussing the best teammates, you know, or best characters in teams. That is a challenge of a character where, you know, someone is good and, like, tanky, but you can knock them so far away that they, you know, they set up a 2v1 situation anyway, and that can kind of be a weakness of Sheik for sure.
Big agree. Back here is going to be the end of Rocky stock. 0% for both the blue team. Virus chilling at the ledge. Oh, and it gets caught in their own wires, and oh my goodness, that's going to lead to the end of Cody's stock. Could be the end of Virus's as well. No, not yet, but she's definitely at a high percent to where it could be curtains soon. You know, I think the other thing is that they're actually keeping iBDW, out of the way. Really, he's not really much of a factor.
No, for sure. This is, you know, kind of what I was thinking about with this team. That, like, it's gonna be tough because even though, you know, their strategy is good, it has some clear weaknesses, and if the Azel Rocky team is able to kind of leverage those weaknesses, they don't really have a way to deal with that, I guess. Like, you know, to go back to my rock, paper, scissors analogy, you know, like, yeah, they're getting a huge rock that's very powerful. They have a very good strategy that they're working with, but that doesn't make it not, like, empirically lose to scissors to paper, as long as you're able to execute it well. And, you know, some of the things I think Azel and Rocky are doing kind of hits that vibe a bit, where it's like you're starting to see the downsides.
Yeah,
like, look at that.
Oh my goodness.
That was so smart.
That was,
holy crap.
Talk about breaking reality just a little bit. I think it's the first time I've seen... That's like the first time I think I've ever seen an up air into a Firebird. NorCal pulling out all the stops right now. This is looking, I don't know, radar. This is looking like a NorCal Grand Finals.
No bias there at all. But I agree with you. I do think that Azel, Rocky, both playing very solidly. I'm sure, you know, this is probably a, you know, like, there are some things holding back both teams in terms of ping and that kind of thing, but I just think that Azel, Rocky, able to do the necessary stuff to kind of dismantle the strengths of the green team in such a clever way. And, you know, unlike my Hearthstone example, to do that strategy in melee, you got to be pressed insanely fast. You can't just make the right decision. You have to, like, be able to execute that decision. It's what makes melee one of the hardest games, you know, around. It is so demanding, and they're putting on a show.
Definitely a show there. I love that falling weak backer from Azel, the stock trade this time to prevent it. Oh my goodness, yeah, and iBDW is just, he's clinging up for dear life. It's like, yeah, maybe I can still win this, but I think unfortunately defeat is starting to set in a bit. He's trying everything he can, but
I think what he's trying to do right now is he's trying to show us why this Galint melee open. You know, he's practicing his ledge dashes. He's getting the ledge dash invincibility good. He's thinking, oh, maybe I can show them some Galint frames if they'd like to see it. But yeah, I like the up throw back here. Again, aware of, you know, he can't really commit, but beautiful combo there from Rocky, making lasers, keep it simple, up smash. Simple and clean, baby.
it is definitely simple and clean, and they